Good morning. As y'all know, the lighting is horrible in here, but I just watched the Advice Show interview with, I forget his name, Jesse Lee James or something like that. Let me look. um, and y'all have to excuse me. It's really humid in here. It's really cold, and then I have my crock pot simmering. Because I have it simmering, it's really humid, and so it's just really odd feeling in here. So you'll see me wiping my nose like a condensation on my new nose. But I was just watching um, a Skype invitation with Jesse Lee Peterson versus The Advice Show. It was initiated by Jesse Lee Peterson inviting The Advice Show to Skype with him. And it was on manhood, family, and race in America. And The Advice Show, and I learned a little bit. I've been watching The Advice Show on and off for a long time, and I remember, like I said, when it first started. Um, I remember when it first started, and I really liked it. And because I watched the guy that does the Advice Show before he did the Advice Show, and I liked him with his show was because he was very, to me, down to earth, and he just talked. And he didn't. It wasn't the Advice Show. It was just him being him. And I forget what the other channel was. I wish I remember it because I like to go back and check it out. But yeah, and he started doing the Advice Show. And what I learned about him, I didn't never know what his name was, but Jesse Lee Peterson put his name on there. But he's the host of the Advice Show. And just to give you my overview, it's about a 33-minute long video to give you an overview of my opinion of the video. It was very informative, very educational, very interesting to watch. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. I gave it a thumbs up because of those reasons. My opinion of both parties, like I said with the Advice Show, I've been watching him on and off for a long time, a real long time, since before he started the Advice Show. I caught a couple of his videos before then. Um, and opinion, I gave my opinion about him before on something. I don't remember, but my opinion about this man is that I think that overall I like him. I think he's intelligent, and he came to me with anyways. But when I say that, meaning I placed an opinion on one of his things, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, he actually reads his stuff, and he does. And I guess he's a responsible person. So that's another opinion. He's a responsible person. He takes action, and overall opinion of him, good, intelligent brother, opinionated, takes action, responsible. I like him overall. Jesse Lee Peterson, I've never seen or heard of him ever. And this is the part he is initiated the Skype with the Advice Show. And my opinion of him, very old fashioned. My initial opinion of him, very old fashioned, but I understood it because I'm old fashioned too. Meaning, like when he asked, when he asked the Advice Show host, and I'm gonna say the name because he put his name. Well, no, I'm not. But he asked the Advice Show host. My lighting is so terrible, y'all. I got this thing rigged up. It's a vanity mirror because the lamp is on in here, but it's just still dark. Like, you know. But anyhow, he asked for for Jesse Lee Peterson is the person that invited the Advice Show. He initiated the contact. I've never heard of Jesse Lee Peterson at first. My first impression of him was he was very old fashioned, and I can definitely relate to that because I'm very old fashioned in a lot of ways. And when I say that, I mean when he asked his questions, he expected an answer. That's how I am. A lot of times people get intimidated by that, they're threatened by that, or they feel bullied by that. But it's not. They just want an answer, and it's not that they don't appreciate your answer a lot of times, and communication is real important to me. So when I was growing up, I was taught this, and I don't know, sometimes I think I'm like, I assume that I'm younger than both of these people, but I probably may be older than the Advice Show host because I make that assumption a lot, and I find out I'm like, whoa, I'm older than you. But when I was growing up, regarding communication, when somebody asks you a question, you need to be able to learn to answer it directly. For example, I think he asked a question about, I don't know, but I'm gonna go back and do another video about it. Like if I say, if it's a difficult question to answer, what happens is the other person, instead of answering the question, they'll go around it, but perhaps they're not acknowledging or even recognizing that they're going around it just because it's a difficult question and they want that to be the final answer. But when somebody to help that, like if you ask somebody asks you a question and you find them saying, "Oh, you didn't answer the question," what you do to counter that, to prove to yourself that you answered it and to demonstrate that you indeed answered. So if I say, John, what color is that fan? And then John says to me, it doesn't matter what color the fan is. It's a fan. Then I say, but John, you're not answering the question. What color is the fan? Well, the fan is what it is. I can't tell you what color the fan is. The fan is what it is. Now you have to answer the question. You have to say, and if you're getting a response where it seems like the person keeps asking you something, you feel like, well, I answered it. I'm not gonna get. You just didn't get the answer that you wanted. Take it to yourself. Break the question down. He asked, "What color is the fan?" So turn that around in your mind. The color of the fan is, and then that'll help you to make sure that you ensure that you're answering the question. Because I saw a lot of that going on, and I noticed that when I saw that going on, it was towards topics which were negative about general, generally well-known people that there was a large liking for, and so I noticed he was going around those questions. And again, no offense to the Advice Show, because I am a big, super big fan, and this is just my opinion as objectively as I can give it, and hopefully you'll be able to take something out of it that you like and the stuff and can use, and the stuff that you can't, brush it off. It's nothing. It's very constructive that I'm saying. It's nothing. I actually absolutely love the show. So my opinion of Jesse again. He's old fashioned. He's a little old fashioned. I can relate to that. I understand it. The same old values. And then what I found out, which was kind of delightful towards the end, is that he's very base level Christian oriented, And I understood what he was saying about how, the racism thing was kind of a tight question too. But what he was saying is the basis of everything, the truth of it all, is that when you get down to the bottom of it, the big picture, the reality, the core of the seed, it's not about racism. It's about hate. It's about good and evil, and whatever way they can purport the evil, whichever way they can divide and conquer. So what he's preaching is unity versus the evil of the separation and dividing and conquering. We all need to love each other is basically all he's saying, and I get it. But let's move forward. So what I said, looked at some of the questions, and what I was going to do, because I thought it was going to be fun for me, was to jot down the questions that were asked and ask them myself, answer them myself. But as I went along, I saw that a lot of these questions to me, they were circular questions to me that didn't. They were questions that would not apply to me. Like when he was asking questions about Barack Obama politically, and he was asking questions about Farrakhan. Barack Obama politically, I don't follow him politically, but I like to watch the videos of his family and how him and his wife first met and the kids. And I don't watch any of the political videos. I watch his family videos. Louis Farrakhan, all I know is some of the stuff that I heard growing up, and I did hear him call people, white people, blue-eyed devils or whatever. I did hear that. Do I feel that's evil? Yeah, I feel it's evil to label anybody in any way that's negative, because you're putting them in a box where they can't get out. And I understand that because I've been incorrectly labeled a few times, and I think the Advice Show understands that, because when I left the comment on the Advice Show's page, the Advice Show came to me and was like, "Hey, you got me all wrong." And I admitted, hey, maybe I probably did, because I mean, mostly that's people's viewpoints, and their viewpoints and perceptions are based on their experience. So I probably did get it wrong, So when people make, and even if I said this during this video, you can't make a blanket statement. When people make blanket statements, or when people, have an opinion about something, they don't see the whole picture. It's like the five men and the elephant. One man is touching when something is so big and you only see a certain part of it, you may have a whole different perception of it than the other. And I think that's where they stood on the Louis Farrakhan topic. I think for Jesse, he was looking at the big picture where he saw the end of the Louis Farrakhan thing, where he saw. I didn't look up the video, but I'm gonna get a chance to do it when I get a chance. He said something about doing harm to white people or something like that. I didn't see that, never heard about that, so I don't know anything about that. But that's his experience of what he's taken in regarding Farrakhan and the Blue Eyed Devil. I heard about that. Now, So he's looking at Louis Farrakhan from that point, and those things are evil. You know, those, if that's true, you know, that's evil, because you're putting somebody in the blue-eyed devil part. That's the only part I can say that I've heard before. I didn't hear it directly from his mouth, but maybe I should take time to watch, but I'm sure he said it. But then on the other side, the Advice Show was saying, hey, he does some excellent things for black people. So, you know, it's just like the Advice Show is coming from the portion of the five Indian men with the elephant. He's feeling the smooth ivory tusk, you know, the good part of it. The Jesse portion, he's feeling the rear end with all the rough wrinkles and all the stuff that smell like dookie, you know. So that's, you know, that's my view of it. You know, there's always two sides to a story. There's always a bigger picture, and you don't know what part of the picture somebody got. When you get a picture puzzle piece, and it may be a picture of something simple like a meadow, but you might get a piece that had a purple flower, and somebody else might get a piece of the sky, and you'll be like, that's two totally different things, but they make up the same picture. And that's the same thing I think Jesse was talking about when he was like, you know, it's based on, hey, you look at the bigger picture. It's not about black and white. You know, yeah, that's racism, but that's evolved from the sea. You know, that's the bigger picture, is that it's about, you know, the battle of principalities of love and goodness versus just being nasty and dividing everybody and hating and fighting until we all kill each other off. You know, so that's all he was saying, the bigger picture. You know, so I get it, and you know, I feel Jesse, even though you know, some of his things are really, just the way he presents it is a little different because he's older. You know what I'm saying? And you know, old fashioned. I am too, and that's why when I go out in public and I start to talk about things, people say I'm weird. So I just kind of just, you know, quiet down, or I think too much. But it's not that. It's about, we grew up in a time when it was important to think. You know what I'm saying? Where it was important that what you said made sense. It was important for you to get an understanding. If you don't have an understanding, try to get one. You know, and I think the Advice Show does the same thing, but I think it's on a different thing. Like if I say it, that's what it is. Period. You know, and I don't think he was trying to, you know, say that your response is invalid. He was just saying that you didn't answer the question, and you didn't. You didn't. I mean, I noticed that. And if you go back and watch a video, perhaps you might be able to see that too. And again, this is not a diss. This is just me looking at it constructively, critically, and objectively. And there's a lot of bad things about me, and you can pick it out too. You know, I'm little long-winded and a little goofy, but I mean, I'm just telling the truth, or from, you know, my experience it from what I'm seeing, and that's totally different, like you said, about common sense for someone else. But I don't think common sense is, you know, like you were saying. Well, the Advice Show was saying common sense is um, depends on each individual. Not, I don't. I think it's a bigger realm than that. It's not each individual, because in order for something to be common, it has to encompass more than one experience. So common to maybe the area or the peoples of that section. You know, their mores, their values, their systems, their beliefs. So that's where I'm going with that one. So, and I'm gonna kind of go back and forth from giving commentary and talking about me, because I like questions because they elicit responses from me, and they make me, you know, self actualization. So even though these questions were something that they had between themselves, you know, you know, how long because YouTube is very therapeutic for me. How long have I been doing YouTube videos myself? For a long time. Probably I would have been probably maybe 2011 or so. And the reason, so it would have been a lot sooner than that. But again, I had a legal situation where I was falsely accused, convicted, overturned. They took everything, and then I was court ordered to homelessness for years, so I didn't have access to any of this stuff. And you know, so, and because before that happened, I used to just videotape and whatever just to keep me company, you know, and that's probably why I do it now, you know. And it's very self actualizing, because you can talk about your experiences, your things, and somebody, and for me, I don't advertise or whatever. Somebody might just happen across something they might be able to relate to, you know, and that's very, you know, therapeutic to get it out, put it out into the air, and it's just a journal for me, pretty much, of my life. I'm coming to a close on my time, so I'm gonna go to the next.